This is a video that will show you how to create two box plots next to each other. Creating two or more or three or four or five or however many you want, it's just the same, but the process, it goes like this for at least two. So the first thing we're going to do is put the data in. We're going to actually look at an example here where we look at hot dogs, the amount of sodium that is in hot dogs. So I have a data set that has the amount of sodium and the amount of calories. Actually, we're going to look at calories, not sodium. But we have a data set that has both of these on them. So we're going to go ahead and type those in. So there is the data set. I called it hot dogs, and it is a CSV file, and there's the web address for it. Now I would actually like to look a little bit at this data. So let's do a head. And there's kind of what it looks like, and you see you have type, calories, and sodium. Type has beef, but there's probably more than that, and you can't see all the different types. So if we actually did just hot dogs and hit enter, you'd see all the different types that they have in here. So beef, meat, I don't know what that is because I thought meat was beef, but I don't want to ask because it's hot dogs, and then poultry. So let's actually do a side-by-side comparison of the amount of calories that are in beef as opposed to poultry. I'm going to ignore meat because I don't know what that is. All right, so we're going to filter for beef. So we're going to call it beef. And we're going to use the dataset hot dogs. And remember, you use a bracket. And then you're, again, using the dataset hot dogs. And you're doing type, because that was the name of the variable that we want to work with, that type right there. And then we're going to say we want to look at beef. Remember the double equal sign. And beef is capitalized. And then at the end, just put a comma. Let's do a head of this data, or actually let's just look at this data set. And there is the type, calories, and sodium for beef. Now we'll do the exact same thing for poultry. I have to make sure I spell poultry right. So hot dogs again, hot dogs in brackets, $sign, we want to use type, and we use poultry. And then again, at the end, just put a comma. Make sure you put the poultry in quotes, just like we put the beef in quotes, so it knows to look for that exact word in sequence. And again, we can look at poultry and just make sure that it does have all the data in it. Now what to do to create a box plot, I say box plot, and then say we want to do beef. And because we have several variables in there, even if you only had one variable in here, you still have to do beef and then the $sign and calories. And then put a comma and do the exact same thing for poultry. And put a $sign and calories. And if you hit enter, you'll get a nice graph. You can't see it just yet, but let me move it over here. So you can see what this graph looks like. And they look nice side by side information. Of course, it doesn't have a title. And it doesn't have... you don't know what 1 and 2 are. If you were a reader looking at this, you wouldn't know 1 and 2 is. So we're going to put that information in here. So we're going to recreate a box plot. I'm going to do beef and calories. And then poultry and calories. And then we're going to do a title. And maybe we'll call it calories in hot dogs. And then close that quote. And then maybe, because I'm not going to worry about making this one horizontal, we'll just do vertically. We'll do ylab is, let's say, calories. The amount of calories, maybe. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually have it put the names. So we're going to do names, and then we're going to combine equals, and we're going to combine. We want to combine the words beef, so put beef in quotes, and then we want to combine the word poultry. Put that in quotes. Then close that names, close the whole box plot, and then hit enter. And if we go and look at our graph, we see a nice graph now that actually says the amount of calories, the types here, and calories in hot dogs. So we have a nice label, we have a nice title, and we actually know which one's which. Now looking at this, you can tell that beef has a lot more calories than poultry. The upper part of poultry is at the median of beef, and the median of poultry is at the lower end of beef. You can also see from this graph that there are no outliers, because there were outliers, there'd be dots here or here, and there are none. So there are no outliers in this data set. And that's it.